Hey, today I'm talking about My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. The basic premise is there's a big Greek wedding, and honestly, that caught me by surprise. Really though, the premise is Tula's father has passed away, but wouldn't you know it, his hometown in Greece is having a big reunion. So it's a whole big family excursion to Greece. And this movie was exactly what I thought it would be. It was a cute, fun little story that had a lot of heart, but also was very deeply flawed. I took my mom to go see it, and I'm so glad I did. That was definitely the right choice. So positives. There's a lot of positives. I think the premise is solid. That's an interesting enough story. Bringing the whole family to Greece, that's a no-brainer. All of the individual stories were really interesting. And I thought the new characters were also very interesting. I, in particular, really enjoyed the mayor. I thought she/they were a very surprising but fun dynamic. But speaking of the stories in general, that's also where the movie falters, in that this movie is full of gags when it needed moments. A good example is the husband, Ian, who is incredibly charming, but barely in this movie for some reason. He has this little story with a monk, and I'm like, oh, this is really intriguing. And they get important information from the monk. Unfortunately, though, the entire story with the monk is from 2 scenes that in total are about 30 seconds. This could have been a really interesting character growth moment, but instead it's just like one little joke. What are you doing? Give me the whole thing. It's a good scene. Do it. It makes sense to have lots of little stories when you have a big ensemble film like this. They want everyone to have like a thing to do, but they just don't spend enough time on any of them for it to really be anything. It almost feels like there was some mandate that this movie had to be 90 minutes. And instead of just cutting out like 1 or 2 stories, they cut off several minutes from everyone's stories. So it's just like little snippets of almost a story. And that's really frustrating because like at its core, this movie has fantastic heart. Like the stuff they do for the father, it'll tug at your emotional core. I know this because my mom literally cried while watching this movie. I didn't because it's edited poorly, but she did, and that's great. It makes sense. The story they were telling is a good emotional story. The issue is that they didn't really spend enough time on anything to really make it land. So, would I recommend it? Honestly, yes. This movie is totally worth it. I legitimately had a smile on my face the entire time. It was a really pleasant little movie. The only thing I would say is set yourself up for success. And by that I mean put your expectations in check. So I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of this, which is this movie is an interesting little story and it has a lot of heart, but it is definitely without a doubt deeply flawed. So you're gonna have a pleasant experience, though you just might get kind of frustrated with things at times, and that's okay. And now for my ranking, I put this at number 41 in the liked category. And this is out of a total of 50 new movies so far this year.